So, Dallas Mavericks are trying to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. This is coming from Marc Stein at the Stein line, so you know it holds its weight in gold. Now, yes, the report is that the Mavericks will attempt to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. What seems like what they've been trying to do for months now. And I think the Dallas Mavericks are motivated to trade away Tim Hardaway Jr. this offseason. Tim Hardaway is entering the final season of his contract at $16.2 million for the 24-25 season. Jaden Hardy was playing more minutes in the playoffs than Tim Hardaway Jr., who had fallen out of the Mavericks rotations during this past playoff run. Hardaway appeared in 79 games this past year, 14.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, and just under 2 assists in 27 minutes a night. The Mavericks would like to re-sign Derrick Jones Jr., who became their starting small forward after signing to a bargain of a minimum deal this past offseason. And as always, what would you even be trading Tim Hardaway Jr. for? Is there a market for the guy? I really don't know, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, we can hop into the Fanspo trade machine because that's how we're gonna basically visualize what this trade could look. I personally think if you're trading Tim Hardaway Jr., you're going to probably looking to either pack it. I think Dwight Powell's on such a cheap deal that you'd want to keep him. You're keeping Dante Exum. You either keep Jaden Hardy and extend him or you trade him at this point. And outside of that, I think Maxi Kleba is another potential trade asset. So where do we look? I think the first place is you look is the Eastern Conference. And what are some contracts that come to mind when you look around? It becomes hard, ladies and gentlemen. It becomes hard. I don't know if Miami has any deals that interest you. I don't think they do. I don't think Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta could. I just don't think you should get into the DeAndre Hunter investment if you're going to re-sign DeAndre Jordan. I mean, DeAndre Jordan, my apology, ladies and gentlemen. Derrick Jones Jr. So you got to go around and look for deals that who could take. You got to find a rebuilding team first off that's willing. So you look at the Wizards and the Pistons. So do the Wizards have like a Landry Shamet? Could you convince the Wizards to send you to go, okay, how about Tim Hardaway Jr. for Landry Shamet? And you tack in there, you throw them a second round pick for their troubles. Now, you ask a third team to come in. Do the Pistons have a contract that might intrigue you? And that could be like a Troy Brown Jr. And you could maybe also ask for, is Chemsy Metu under contract next year? Maybe you see if Chemsy's down to come over. And I think that's really it from this roster that you would want. I mean, maybe you ask for Stanley Umudu. I have no idea how to say his name, but what I'm going to bring up here is, first off, I'm trying to see if there's anything else that intrigues you on that side, but there isn't. So you go around and then you say Maxi Kleba, goodbye, buddy, to the Wizards. And the Wizards at this point, or not the Wizards, my apology, to the Pistons. And I think this could be, you got to figure out how the compensation will work out, but bro, I put Kleba on the Wizards, but he's literally right there. Try the trade. So right here, the Pistons, Wizards, and Mavericks. Mavericks walk away with Shamet, Brown, Metu. Again, doesn't have to be this many players, but the idea is basically Landry Shamet and Troy Brown Jr. to the Mavericks. Wizards get Tim Hardaway. Pistons get Kleba. And you could also say Tim Hardaway could just go by himself because you're hooking up the Wizards by taking on the second year of Landry Shamet's contract and Hardaway isn't expiring. So you could really just say, guess what? We're doing you a favor by taking on this contract. So send that second round pick actually to the Pistons, who are more deserving of the pick due to the fact that they're a team that is taking on the second year of Kleba. But this way you get yourself insurance policy if Derek Jones were to leave. You get more bench scoring in Landry Shamet. You save $12 million, and you have Chenzi, Metu, and Stanley that you can bring into your training camp. And if they do work out, you have more bench pieces. If they don't work out, you just trade them. I just feel like, for what it's worth, you're really not. You have an opportunity to upgrade your roster, get some depth without having to worry about selling the farm to move off of some contracts. I just think finding like bargain deals like that might be more beneficial than going out and trying to find like 2 players. I feel like just doing something like that and then giving yourself the cap space to go into free agency to re-sign Derek Jones to a $12 million deal right there. You just save money, and I feel like that's just would be the better move out of those. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think with more and more time that passes, we'll see which players become available, and that's going to help, I guess, like finalize which players are going to be ones that could be sought after, or which players could be ones that have some availability that a team like the Mavs can go after and seek as a trade for by using Mr. Tim Hardaway Jr. as a trade piece. I think Cleveland gets tacked on to a trade because he's just an older guy that they might not be interested in keeping around as much. That's my 2 cents on that matter, but we'll see how that plays out. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on the whole situation. I think it's interesting how they've been able to just put themselves in the position, conference finals 2 years ago, NBA finals this year.